Come and join the largest and fastest growing social media platform for small boat building and fishing. Come and show your pictures off, show your boats and your fish. Come give advice, come get advice.
Hey guys and gals. One of the bigger questions I get, how do you make an effective subfloor in a john boat with thin walls, like a small one? Really in any john boat, the flat bottom and the way we have to contour this stuff, you're at a significant disadvantage as opposed to like a deep V with a nice middle channel where you can have a very, very, robust subfloor that just does everything. But in subfloors like these, I want to show you something that I'm going to do for this small john boat that I think is absolutely paramount for its success in the end goal, and also transfer over very, very well to whatever you're doing.
Yeah, so I Hitlered this piece pretty good here, but there's no other way. We still have to put this hinge, and we're still gonna do some other stuff. We'd have a slant, and what that would do is you would allow you to put the longest rods in first, and then the shorter rods you have, you can still stack around the sides. For these rod lockers, notoriously, the first 3 are gonna be your longest rods. This right now, if we set it straight, will fit a 9-foot rod. So I really want it to go that way. We just need to cut it like that. Doesn't have to be. Just like that. We'll have to put some cross beams here to kind of give it some strength, and obviously probably put that cross beam right here to compensate for this gap flexing in, but we got to secure these first.
Okay, so what I'm doing here is I am stretching the metal. I know you have metal shrinkers and stretchers, but if you have like this simple basic vise that I got from Harbor Freight, I just take each section, put it in the inside, make sure it's straight, and then I crunch down on it, and this will widen this out. I'm using this to create a false bottom that fits against the side of the hull so we can have an actual 4-dimensional hookup and actually complete the locker. Without this, it'd be really hard to do it. We don't have any bottom support section to joint that. It's gonna be sitting flat on the foam, but what we do have is extensions ran from the inner ribs that we made out of the 1/8, running little sections of angle out there that it can sit on, and it will also connect from each end of the locker itself.
These are the older bent-in sections that I brazed together. If you're wondering why I don't braze anymore, it's not that it doesn't work, it's that like it's 90% zinc and it's 90% corrodable, so whatever you braze you need to paint or chrome over so that it has a corrosion resistant base. Otherwise it starts looking a little hairy. So that one will do it if we cut it. That wasn't a smart place to. Oh, cool! Like the goggles caught most of it. Dope. You see that all the spots I did the double bracket just like I showed you here, but those brackets are actually attached to the bottom. Those are actual ribs for the boat that I re-ribbed with 1/8 to compensate for the bench seats I took out. You have to cut some specialized pieces to make your stuff work however you want to frame it. So this is... All right, so that's about as specially twisted as it can get. Yep, conveniently. That's exactly, honestly, almost to the T how I wanted that to be. I wanted that cross beam just to support while this floats, but this is essentially going to be floating and connecting to the inner beam, which will be this, which I have flattened out to contour to the side of the hole, like the other side. And that has actually worked out pretty well for us. Yes, very nice and pliable until it's secure, then it's not. We may have to just get these pieces of angle to shift out more toward the end because it's more important that we have an edge here to sit. We might have to replace these, but that's not a big deal because these are still free floating with nothing really there. So we'll get those going before we secure this wall here. Then we'll make the faceplate here, and then we're really moving on to the lockers, and we're getting really dangerous, really serious. That's a little bit better there in terms of actual grip. That'll look better.
These ideas are coming into fruition and actually applied with very minimal setbacks, so we're actually moving very quick. Much faster than I had anticipated, because there's generally setbacks, but this is actually pretty flawless and simple and very easy to do. And now we have a full platform after we frame in the front and back of the lockers. If you're a first-time viewer and you're seeing anything here for the first time, you're likely a little confused. Just know that there is a full framing video of everything you saw up to this point right up here, and also in the description below. This frame just gets a little bit more complicated every time I get new ideas, so it's going to have to be broken down into a few videos. The next section, we're going to go ahead and install the other side, where we have a usable place to install the vented flooring.
Right, so we got all this done. it is looking pretty good. We need to frame the front there, but I'm gonna hold off for a moment because now we're kind of right where we need to be here with the vented flooring. Last time I made the vented flooring, I put styrofoam down, I poked a bunch of holes in it the getaway with like, I heated up a screwdriver with a torch and just went obviously you don't need to do that, you need a soldering iron. The soldering iron will do the job just fine. But just to help with ventilation, the water will creep underneath here and it will stay there and do its thing. And if it stays on plastic long enough, we all know what happens when water is just on plastic for a obscene long time. It doesn't do very well. We got this. I'm gonna do it very uniform like. Now this is not just a hypothesis that this will work. When I built this thing the first time, I left it out in my backyard. It did get flooded. I forgot to pull the drain plug when it rained. Water sat in it for days, a few times. I drained it all out. Nothing, no problems with the foam. I did gut this entire thing out and I looked for residual foam problem, like mold problems in the foam. Nothing. So the vents do work. You can choose whether or not you're going to do this, but I'm going to go based off prior observations from testing this theory that it works. Let's see what we got going on here. This is what we're going to use for the vented flooring. It says perforated aluminum right here. That's what this is. That's what this is. And this is perforated galvanized steel. I did use this initially, and you could still use this. I just happened to run across this on the internet, and knowing how light aluminum is in comparison to steel, this whole sheet is actually a lot lighter than this. This weighs about twice as much as this in a smaller portion. And because I'm absolutely capitalizing all out on weight reduction, I chose this. But this is fine. It's not terribly much more heavy than aluminum sheeting because, I mean, it's holy. And it will work, especially if you paint it. If you are going to use perforated galvanized metal, paint it before you install it. And it will help you out. This is already painted. It's pretty convenient.
So this vented flooring cuts very easy with just straight tin snips. It was very easy to mark out. Our floor is going to end up being 7.5 inches at the very, very bottom for the rod lockers. So we're just going to double up on that. This is a 3x3 foot sheet from my Amazon store, and I'll put in the link in the description also. One sheet did both lockers and I still had a little extra over. So it was a pretty good deal. There's one other thing we're going to do here though. That's not included in the kit. A lot of these things are not included in the initial kit if you bought it. I wouldn't outsource these from a store. These are just super thin, 1/2 inch, like by 1/16 or 1/20 flat bar strips that we're going to use to dress up the edges so it looks clean. And we're going to go ahead and just make sure those are out there and measured and cut, and then we'll just go ahead and install them like so. And then once those are down, I mean, we're ready to test this floor. Essentially, it's ready to be tested. We're right where we left off last time, right when I quit building this project, but it was worth it because I could have never done back then what I'm doing now. is to stick around, you know, lather up and mold up and start stinking. It doesn't do any of that. It doesn't mess up your gear. It doesn't puddle up and eventually cause you problems or damage in some venue. It's draining to the side channel. Going down there, it's doing its thing. This back end will likely be exposed completely right here. That way we have instant access to flush out and blow out anything we need to do, because these three little ribs are our main drainage. And that sucks for any John boat if you're doing it this way, but it is what it is. Right now it's fairly nice and temperate outside. This is going to dry and vent out like nothing. It's not going to stagnate and saturate the foam over time. It's going to vent out. It's good to go. So I know we're a little farther on than what you may see. And that's because we have a lot of... I did a big giant push to try and finish this thing as much as I could before I took my tin can crew trip. And we have serviceable panels running a double wall that's going to really channel all of our wiring and stuff through very, very well. Keep it all very protected, make it all very nice. We have the basis for the electric panel to where it is just a true drop-in. These angles out, where we kind of tactfully riveted angle together, so we did this out. That is so we can just drop a panel in and pull it out and troubleshoot it. I don't know if we're going to be able to stick the fuse block in here. We might have to do it somewhere in here, but this whole area is pretty much designated for the battery. It can hold additional stuff, but there's going to be ports for a battery to be put in here, and there's going to be ports for a battery to be put in here. So it just depends on where I want the weight distribution, how heavy the battery is, where it might make more sense to run a single battery up here for the trolling motor, a single battery to run back here for like lead acid. If I get this lithium deal fixed up and I see where that goes, then we will have one big giant lithium battery that is stupidly light back here, and that will run everything. I really hope that we get to showcase an electric setup on this boat. I really want to do that for people and just dive into that very, very deeply. It seems to be a very trending issue amongst the audience, but I don't know. We may or may not get to demo a full electric outboard setup on this boat. We're messing around with it. We're trying to make some things happen, so we'll see. But I'd like to do a both, where we show the gas or electric hybrid version, how you build a boat for either, so it can be outrigged for both setups. We'll be running various ports and everything coming up. We'll be showing a pretty big in-depth view into how we're tying up these side panels in electric. I think that'll be the bigger focus, along with other parts of the framing. And so that's just gonna tie it all in. But once that's done, I expect this boat to move very quickly. But we're really building it from the bottom up, and we're saving the deck for last, but that is coming. If you found this video useful, please leave a comment, share this video on other platforms. It helps us trend and get out our information more than you'll ever know. If you like what you saw inside this boat and you want the kit that built it, we sell the kit on our website, along with a list of tutorials that are just free for the public and free here if you search our name or click on our channel. They're everywhere. Check us out on tvnation.net. Also check us out here on Patreon if you want more from this channel and just more exclusive perks and rewards in the midst. If you're looking for an online community, a place to share knowledge and share your ideas and your experience, check us out here. Biggest growing community ever. We're everywhere, guys. See you out there.